Hey folks, hey viewers, hey subscribers. I thought I might do a little bit more from the office because I kind of like coming to the office a bit more, and it also makes for a little bit of a better environment, I think, than the green screen for making videos. I think I'm going to try to do a live stream maybe next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday I might do that. We'll see what we can talk about. I wanted to further elaborate on this argument. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the board too well. I wonder if I should use it. But this argument, or this strategy, I'm calling defending fleedom. Fleedom, F-L-E-E-D-O-M, where you have Democrats or liberals who identify with the Democratic Party always bring up this argument where they say they'll post something on social media. It's like a social media based argument. I haven't seen it in other places, but it's like, if this keeps up, I'm moving to Canada, or I'm moving to Europe, or does anyone want to sponsor me for a visa in Europe? And it's almost kind of like a joke, except I do think it is an argument that's worth unpacking in a couple of different ways. The first way to think about this argument Americans make who identify with I think it's liberals who identify with the Democratic Party. I don't think it's extreme leftists, and I don't think it's socialists. I think they want to fight. But I think these are people who are kind of at the end of their rope. And so they're like, this is not a policy of a country I'd want to live in. And it's almost kind of an insulting attack, because it's like, it's meant to be an insulting attack, because it's like, a country that would do this policy is not one that I would want to live in. I don't know how effective that is, because I think most people supporting the policy would say, well, good riddance to the Democrats. I think that's what they would say. So we have to go a little bit deeper than that to really think about what it might be. And Burke helps us here with identification. I no longer identify with the United States, but I do identify with particular values of the United States that I think Canada upholds better. That might be a more fair rendering of it as an argument. It's an attack on a policy that doesn't it doesn't embody, it doesn't connect to those values. But it's an extremely poor enthymeme, because those values never get listed. It's like, I have to move to Canada. But maybe the enthymeme is connected between the story or the headline or the blurb that's being posted on social media, then makes an enthymematic chain to, I'm leaving, I'm moving to Canada. Maybe that's the way. That's the way it could be as well. It could be that too. But then there's also a hidden rejoinder here that I don't think a lot of people take into account, which is connected to arguments where people are like laughing at the soybean farmers, laughing at people whose businesses are getting tanked, who voted for Trump and voted for MAGA, that they are suffering. That's not a persuasive argument. It's like, oh, you get to suffer. I mean, we're all interconnected economically, socially, politically, and the loss of any amount of Americans to bad policy hurts all Americans. So there's kind of this dismissal. These are among people who are like the most surface level of the liberals in the United States, who are like, blue state, red state. I'm moving to a blue state. I'm so much better than you because I live in a blue state. This kind of nonsense argumentation that I don't find to be valuable at all. I'm moving to Canada because this policy turns your back on those people who agree with those values and even agree with your criticism of those policies. And you're just leaving them. You're like, well, you just get to suffer, or you should leave too. There is a better argument for staying and attempting to fight and persuade, but again, like a lot of arguments we hear in politics these days, this is an announcement that you do not value rhetoric, you're untrained in rhetoric, you don't know how to engage with people who hold incredibly hostile attitudes towards your politics and your views, and you just don't know what to do. So in a sense, it's a giving up. It's a giving up on other Americans, and it's on the positive side, it's a badly constructed, extended enthymeme from the action to leaving the country. and then maybe at some level it's a joke. So many different levels for a rhetorician to look at there, but I do think the one that really strikes me is how easily we abandon other people who suffer from a bad policy, suffer from a bad attitude towards what the policy should be. How willing we are to abandon them for our individual comfort. There is an argument, though, that people should leave the country who, and like I wrote in the blog, who are trans, who are queer, and who might be vocally supportive of things like open border or amnesty for people who don't have the right documentation here in the country. These arguments might get you put onto a list or get the government to come and round you up as somebody who is opposed to the current administration. There's also maybe an argument that people who are neurodivergent or diagnosed with autism might need to be a little bit wary of what might happen in the future. For now, it seems to be non-white people who speak Spanish or speak another language seem to be the target of the government's ire, but that doesn't mean it can't change. So I don't want to make light of that that reality kind of bubbling in the corner of your head that might be something worth thinking about. If you're one of those categories, it might be something that is a good politics for the preservation and protection of your life. But for the rest of us, people who look like me, staying and fighting and trying to make convincing arguments, is it so difficult to imagine doing that you would rather go be an expat? You'd rather move to another country entirely and just abandon the politics here? Something to think about. But that's the argument on my mind today here in my university office. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment, and I will post when we're going to do the live stream at some point.